At 30, I thought I had my life mapped out. For nearly 4 years, I was in a serious relationship with Mia, my girlfriend. We lived in a charming little house in the suburbs, the kind you'd imagine in a postcard, complete with a white picket fence and a small garden I tended every weekend. I worked as a marketing manager for a tech company, while Mia was a freelance graphic designer who often worked from home. On the surface, life seemed idyllic. Sure, like any couple, we had our share of ups and downs, but I believed we were heading in the right direction. We had shared late-night conversations about marriage, raising children, and growing old together. It felt like we were building something lasting and beautiful. Or so I thought. Everything changed one Friday evening. It had been a grueling week at work, and I was looking forward to a quiet night with Mia. I planned to cook her favorite pasta and spend the evening unwinding with a movie. As I approached the front door, I noticed something off. The usual warmth of our home felt muted. Mia was sitting on the couch, her laptop open, but she wasn't typing or browsing. She was staring blankly at the screen. "Hey, babe, I'm home," I called out, trying to infuse some cheer into the room. She looked up and forced a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You're early," she replied, her voice flat, almost distant. I set down my bag and started preparing dinner. But the air between us felt heavy, charged with something unspoken. After a few minutes of tense silence, I couldn't take it anymore. "Is everything okay?" I asked, glancing at her over my shoulder. She hesitated, biting her lip before finally speaking. "Actually, there's something I need to talk to you about." My stomach sank. Her tone was serious, and I could tell whatever was coming wasn't going to be easy. I turned off the stove and joined her on the couch, bracing myself. "I've been doing a lot of thinking lately," she began, her eyes darting away from mine. "About us, about my past, and about Jake." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. "Jake? Your ex from college?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She nodded, finally meeting my gaze. "I think I need some time to figure things out. I want to take a break, to see if there's still something there with him." The words didn't make sense at first. I stared at her, hoping I'd misheard. "You want to date him? After everything we've built together?" My voice cracked, the sting of betrayal hitting me like a fresh wound. "It's not like that," she rushed to explain. "I just need to know if I'm making the right choice with you. I don't want to have any regrets." Her reasoning felt like a dagger twisting in my chest. "So, you're saying you want to explore your feelings for him while we're still together? And what? Come back if it doesn't work out." Her voice softened, almost pleading. I need this." Anger and heartbreak surged within me. I stood up, my hands clenched into fists. "You think I'm just going to sit here and wait for you to figure things out? That's not a break, Mia. That's a breakup." She flinched, as if my words had struck her. "I didn't mean it like that." "Save it," I interrupted, my voice rising. "If you want to go, then go. But don't expect me to be your safety net. I'm canceling the wedding." Her expression fell, and for a fleeting moment, I thought I saw regret in her eyes. But it was too late. I turned and walked away, my heart pounding as the weight of her betrayal settled in. I grabbed my phone and called Alex, my best friend who lived a few blocks away. "Hey man," I said, my voice shaky. "Can I crash at your place tonight?" "Of course." "What's going on?" he asked, concern heavy in his tone. I took a deep breath, fighting back tears. "Mia wants to take a break, to date her ex. I can't do this." "Come over," Alex said firmly. "We'll figure it out." The drive to his place was a blur. My mind was a storm of emotions, anger, sadness, disbelief. I kept replaying the conversation in my head, each word cutting deeper than the last. When I arrived, Alex greeted me with a hug, his concern etched on his face. We settled onto his couch, and I recounted everything, my voice trembling as I relived the moment. "Dude, that's brutal," Alex said, shaking his head. Brutal didn't even begin to describe it. My heart felt like it had been ripped out and stomped on. I had given Mia everything. My love, my trust, my future. And she was willing to throw it all away for a ghost from her past. Sitting there in Alex's living room, I realized something. I deserved better. And while the road ahead would be difficult, I knew I couldn't let her betrayal define me. Dude, you deserve better than that, Alex said, shaking his head as if he couldn't believe what I had just told him. You've built a life together, and she's just willing to toss it all aside. I leaned back against the couch, frustration bubbling up, almost choking me. I thought we were happy. We talked about our future, about getting married. How could she just throw it all away? My voice cracked with the rawness of it all. Alex listened intently, his expression full of sympathy, but he didn't shy away from offering the hard truth. It's not about you, man. It's about her and what she's willing to give up. You can't keep giving her all of you when she's not willing to give you the same in return. We spent the rest of the night talking, sharing memories of the good times, the moments that felt like they mattered, and slowly, I began to feel something shift inside me. In the midst of all the heartbreak, I started to see things more clearly. I had been so wrapped up in Mia and our relationship, so focused on making it work, that I ignored the subtle signs of distance between us. There had been moments when she seemed distant, preoccupied, and I had brushed it off as stress from work or personal issues. But now, with the weight of everything that had happened, I realized I had been blind to the truth. As the night unfolded, something profound happened within me. I was no longer the broken man, pleading for someone to choose me. I was a man who deserved respect, loyalty, and love, unconditionally. I didn't want to be anyone's second choice or their fallback option. The next morning, I woke up with a clarity I hadn't felt in weeks. My heart still ached, but there was also a newfound determination. I couldn't let myself stay in a place of pain any longer. I needed to take control of my life. I spent the day with Alex, pushing myself physically at the gym, going for a long run, and indulging in some comfort food. I reminded myself that I was more than just a relationship. I was a person with passions, dreams, and an identity beyond Mia. Days passed, and I poured my energy into healing. I revisited old hobbies I had once abandoned, like painting and hiking, and I reached out to friends I hadn't connected with in years. Slowly but surely, I began to feel the weight of the heartbreak lift. I was rediscovering parts of myself I had lost while being so focused on Mia. I came to understand something powerful. I was capable of finding happiness on my own. I didn't need to rely on anyone else for my sense of worth. One evening, weeks after Mia and I had last spoken, my phone buzzed. It was a text from her. Can we talk? I miss you. My heart raced at the sight of her name, but I took a deep breath. I knew this moment was crucial. I couldn't let my emotions cloud my judgment again. After a long pause, I finally replied, I think it's best if we don't. You made your choice, and I need to focus on myself right now. The silence that followed was deafening. For a moment, sadness gripped me, but it was quickly replaced by an overwhelming sense of relief. I had made the right decision. I had stood firm in my choice, and that was empowering. A few days later, another message from Mia appeared on my screen, this time filled with desperation. I made a mistake. I want to come back. Please, let's talk. I took my time before responding. I wasn't angry. I was simply calm, grounded in the clarity I had found. When I was ready, I replied, I appreciate your honesty, but I can't go back to what we had. I need to move forward. It was then that I realized how much of a weight I had been carrying without even knowing it. Saying goodbye, truly letting go, was like shedding a skin I didn't even realize I was wearing. The burden had been lifted, and I felt freer than I had in months. In the weeks that followed, I continued to grow. I began dating again, cautiously at first, but I found joy in meeting new people, in building new connections. Most importantly, I learned to trust again, not just in others, but in myself. Then one evening, While out with friends, I met Sarah. She was different, vibrant, witty, and full of life. Her energy was magnetic, and we instantly clicked. For the first time in a long while, I found myself laughing wholeheartedly, enjoying the present without the shadow of my past lingering over me. As my relationship with Sarah blossomed, I realized something remarkable. I had truly moved on. The pain of my past had transformed into strength. I had learned a valuable lesson. Love should never feel like a gamble. I deserved someone who would choose me every single day, without hesitation or reservation. Looking back, I felt a strange sense of gratitude for everything that had happened, despite the pain. It had taught me about my self-worth, the importance of setting boundaries, and most importantly, the power of self-love. I had emerged stronger, wiser, and more prepared to embrace whatever the future had in store. So if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, remember this. You are not anyone's backup plan. You deserve someone who recognizes your value and chooses you unconditionally. Don't be afraid to walk away from what no longer serves you. Sometimes the hardest decisions pave the way for the most beautiful outcomes.